Hi again. This is Tom, and I wanted to spend one more post on the belt of truth, which is the first piece of your spiritual armament that Paul seems to say you need to put on. You put on first, and I've made the point in these past two posts that Christianity won't work for you unless what you believe in becomes real in you. And it seems to me that Jesus also concurs with this. He said to the Jews who believed in him in John 8, if you continue in my word, then you will be my students, and you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. And this creates all sorts of delicious questions. What truth was Jesus talking about? And what is knowing the truth? And what does it mean to continue in the word? And what does freedom look like? Freedom from what and freedom to do what? Jesus seems to be saying, you will know that what you are believing is truth by its liberating effect. But the believing Jews picked up on one word and reacted to it. Free? Are you telling us that we're not free? Well, besides not being free because you're under Rome's thumb, besides not being free from the constraints of time and the inevitability of death, besides not being free because of this little thing called sin, besides that, Jesus, what are you really talking about? We are Abraham's children, totally free, totally fine. And Jesus is thinking, Are you really hearing what you're saying? This does not compute. So the Jews got into a defensive position. Who are you to tell me that I'm not free, or that I'm not okay, or that I need to do more than just have some minor adjustments? So question, how would you react to this if Jesus said this to you? I would hope that you and I would say, sign me up. But often the words of Jesus, if they are really heard, offend as they are designed to challenge your presumptions. So the question is, are you, as a believing Christian, free? And before you answer that, let's think about it. Because we're such funny creatures, you and I have a hard time really seeing our condition. So asking yourself questions are a good thing to do. Jesus asks questions all the time. So if you are free, would you worry and stress? And if you are free, would you be a better version of yourself today? If you are free, are you willing to go to the cross for the most bothersome people in your life, just like the most free person who ever lived did? If you were free, would you need to hide some behaviors behind shame? The picture I had this morning is of an eagle that had one of its talons, held by a 3-foot rope. Is that eagle free? Well, within its 3-foot span it is, and it is an eagle, just like you are you, but it is not doing what eagles do because it's not free, regardless what it thinks. You were created by a God who imagined you before the world began and came to set that person free. Not only free from fear and doubt, not only free from worry and care, not only free from the power of sin, but also free to be the you he imagined in all of your potentiality. And I'm not talking about the American dream, I'm talking about the God dream. And there's a heart cry within each person for this sort of freedom. But that 3-foot circle is so knowable and comfortable and predictable, just like Egypt was for the Jews. You might have heard the saying that it was easier for God to take the Jews out of Egypt than it was to take Egypt out of the Jews. So what's your Egypt? If you don't know, you might, like the Jews, tend to be clueless and misinterpret how God is orchestrating your life. Because the Jews didn't. They grumbled and complained and resisted God at every turn. And we Christians can do that as well. And some Christians have given up on him and their dreams, even though they are doing Christian things within that 3-foot diameter. So let's look at this verse. Jesus is offering you his freedom in exchange for you giving up yours. That is, you, a student, willing to stay in the classroom while others go out to play. So he said, if you continue. This word continue is one of John's favorite words. He used it over 70 times in his writings. If you continue, if you hang in there, if you abide, if you remain in the Word, if you find your space, your story in the Word, because the Word is the story or the journey of God which Jesus invites you into, and which space you are to fill. You are to find your story in his story. But if you don't know that story, which is in part God planting the seed of his word, of his truth in you, and that seed falling into the ground of your soul and dying, and that seed then taking root during dry times and in time beginning to grow, if you don't know that story, you won't remain vibrant long, nor remain on the journey. You might continue to go to church and do your Christian thing, but you won't fly. You have to go through the faith, hope, and love stages of life to become the person God imagined. Do you know that? Do you know that the entire Bible is built upon these principles? This, in part, is the truth that sets free. And then Jesus said, if you continue in the Word through thick and thin, then you will know the truth. And you might say, like the Jews, well, I know the truth. In fact, here's what I believe. Beloved, it's possible for Christians to carry their beliefs only to find that when what they believe comes into conflict with what they experience, that their circumstances and feelings win the day. Faith, which is designed to carry you hopeful through the ups and downs of life, can be let go, and the crisis of the moment can be picked up and nursed. This word, know, means to know experientially. Mary used the same word when she rebutted the angel. Me? Get pregnant? How can that be? I haven't known a man. She probably knew Joseph pretty well, but not in the biblical sense. Your knowledge of God must be in the biblical sense. God must impregnate you, and that seed, which is the Word, must gestate in you, and it takes time. So don't abort the Word. Hold on to the faithfulness and love of God. Hold on to the awareness that you are a Jesus type of son, greatly beloved, and in whom God delights. Don't let that go regardless what you experience. So you must fit into the story of God if you're going to successfully navigate the Christian life. God has written you into his faith journey just like he did Abraham, your father. And look at Jacob and Joseph and David and Peter and Paul. Even look at Jesus. They all walked in the steps of Abraham, just as God planned for you. A life of significance and blessing and increase, but going through death, burial, and resurrection. And it's also truth's job to set you free. You don't have to struggle to free yourself. You don't need to be, you need to be just Jesus' student and consume the word and let it consume you. I would even say that if you're trapped in sin, whether it's worry or pornography, beloved, Paul took sin to an entirely different level when he said that anything that's not of faith is sin. But if you are trapped in sin, the way out is not doing this or that, even though if you're serious, you will do this or that. The way out is to continue to journey in the Word, and you will find over time, looking back, that Jesus has really set you free from this or that. And freedom is not just being free from the negatives. The freedom Jesus is talking about is being free to become an eagle in all of its splendor and majesty and soaring above the clouds. Jesus said just a few verses later to the same Jews who believed him and now were wanting to kill him, if the Son sets you free, you shall be free indeed. Really, really free. And Jesus was talking about true sonship, a relationship with God that angels desire, a freedom of sonship that your most far-flung thoughts can't even come close to. And Paul said all of creation can't wait to see what the sons of God will really look like in all of their freedom. Is that your heart? How wide is the circle you live in? How free are you? Does this, what I'm talking about, excite your heart or at minimum pique your curiosity? I hope it challenges you at least. And hopefully you're not like the Jews who believed Jesus but dismissed his offer of freedom. Jesus said, if you find your place in the Word, then you will be my protégés, and you will know the truth with an experiential inner knowing, and that truth will cut the rope that holds you, and you will find yourself soaring. So until next time.